excited. Today I'm talking about my very favorite topic, and that is guided math. Now you might be thinking like, Marcy, what is guided math? Maybe you've heard of guided math before, or maybe you have no idea what guided math is and you are interested in learning a little bit more about it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So guided math is not a curriculum. That's actually a very common misconception that so many teachers have. Guided math is not a curriculum. Guided math is a framework in which your curriculum is taught. So it doesn't matter if you use GoMath or Envisions, or maybe you supplement your math materials with my guided math resources or materials that you've purchased on Teachers Pay Teachers. It doesn't matter what curriculum you use, it's how you fit it into the framework. And the guided math framework consists of 5 different components, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's dive in and get started. I'm so excited that you are here. My name is Marcy 𝗿𝗲𝗏, and I am the teacher author behind 𝗙𝗹𝗲_grade.com, where I help teachers just like you implement guided math into their day without feeling stressed and overwhelmed. So you might be thinking like, what is guided math? So guided math consists of 5 different components that you implement into your math block. Essentially, you are shifting the focus from whole group teacher-led instruction to small group student-led instruction. So those 5 components are a math warm-up, a whole group mini lesson, independent practice, small groups, which small groups are going to consist of small group at your table and math stations, and then the 5th component is a reflection. So before I dive in and share what each of those components are, I do want to talk about the framework a little bit more. So with guided math, it follows a gradual release method. What this means is that rather than focusing on teacher-led direct instruction, that's what you start with, and you slowly shift student learning to be student-led in their math station and small group times. That is the biggest mindset block that teachers have to overcome when implementing this type of instruction. So let's just kind of dive in, and I'm going to break down the 5 components for you. Component number 1 is your math warm-up. A math warm-up is a simple, short activity that you can do with your students at the beginning of your math block. Think of it as kicking off your instruction. You're getting their brains fired up. This is a great time to promote and encourage higher order thinking and having mathematical conversations. Often, teachers will ask, can you do number talks for your math warm-ups? And you absolutely can. Typically, with a math warm-up, you don't want to give them some sort of pencil and paper task that they're going to have to turn in, and then you have to grade it. That's not what a math warm-up is. You want short and simple activities that, again, encourage higher order thinking, promote mathematical conversations, and get their brains fired up for a whole group lesson. If you own any of my guided math units, all of my lesson plans include a 5-minute warm-up. One of my favorite warm-up activities is called Beat the Teacher. It's a simple one. It's probably one of my favorites because you can incorporate it so many different ways. So let me just kind of explain it a little bit. You're going to take your students and you're going to put them into different groups, and each group is going to have either a piece of paper and a pencil, or maybe they just have a whiteboard and a dry erase marker. You might say, okay, boys and girls, today you're going to beat the teacher, and I want you to come up with as many math facts as you can that equal 12. Maybe they're doing addition only. Maybe they're doing subtraction. Maybe they're doing addition and subtraction. Maybe you're doing multiplication if you teach 3rd grade. And so you're going to set a timer for 2 or 3 minutes, and then as the timer is going, each group is working together to come up with as many math facts that equal 12 as they possibly can. And they're going to write their facts on their whiteboard. Then you, the teacher, you are also on your own whiteboard or piece of paper, you are also writing down facts that equal 12. When the timer goes off, Then you can walk around, you can spot check answers, you can call on groups to share their answers, and then at the end you see, were any groups able to beat the teacher? Could they come up with more math facts than you that equal 12? So that's one of my favorite simple warm-up activities. After your warm-up is over, this is when you are going to lead into whole group instruction. This is when you are going to do a mini lesson. Now, I am saying mini lesson. For your whole group activity, do not plan to create an anchor chart and then you're going to use manipulatives and then you are going to do an interactive notebook activity and then you are going to watch a video and then you're going to play a game and then you're going to make a craft. How many of you have done that before? Because I know that I have. Your mini lessons need to be short and sweet. Do not overplan because with guided math, your core instruction is not taking place during your mini lesson. Your core teaching is taking place at the small group table where you can differentiate it to meet your students' needs. So when you think about your mini lessons, this is going to be when you're introducing concepts. You're doing a practice and some sort of review. Maybe you create an anchor chart, but if you create an anchor chart, that might be all you do, and know that that's okay. If you are going to watch a video, that's all you're going to do, and that's okay. Maybe you do some manipulative work. That's all you do, and that's okay. So during your mini lesson time, typically you're going to introduce concepts, use that time to practice and reinforce concepts. Maybe you do a read aloud, or during this time, assess your students. So remember, when you're thinking about a mini lesson, keep them short, simple, and sweet, and do not over plan. So again, during your mini lesson, you might create an anchor chart together. Maybe you watch a video, you do a pocket chart sort, you do something in their math journal, but set a timer and keep your instruction simple. Now, your whole group time actually consists of two parts. You have your mini lesson, which is teacher-led. Then you have independent practice. Independent practice is when your students are going to practice what they just learned in your mini lesson. So this might be taking what they just learned and doing an interactive notebook about it. Maybe you do a partner game or do something with task cards. This might be when you do a curriculum workbook page or some sort of technology. Maybe you continue that manipulative work. But your mini lesson is short and sweet. Your independent practice time is when kids are going to take what you just did in your mini lesson and apply it on their own. And then you, as the teacher, are going to walk around and model and assist. Then, once that time frame is over, you are going to transition into small group instruction. Now, this is where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. I am a firm believer that miracles happen at the small group table. This is where you as the teacher are going to provide targeted instruction. You are going to differentiate based on student groups and their individual needs. So typically each rotation lasts anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes depending on how much time you have. And while you are meeting with a small group at your table, the rest of your students are placed in groups and they rotate through various activities. I call them math stations. You might call it math centers or math workshop. Just know that typically that's all the same. But while you are working at the small group table, the rest of your students are going to be completing different activities, such as maybe they're playing a partner game, they're working in their math journal, they are doing something with task cards, they might be working on a technology component. And so while you're teaching your core lesson at the small group table, this is when student learning shifts from being teacher-led to student-led. So the activities that they are doing are typically spiral review. You do not want to put a brand new concept in your math stations that your students have not mastered. Make sure that the activities that you include in your math stations are things that your students have already mastered for continuous spiral review throughout the year. Then at the very end of your math lesson, you are going to incorporate a reflection. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't do a reflection every single day. Some teachers do, some don't. That's going to be completely up to you. But this is when you are going to have students reflect and hold them accountable for their learning and how they feel. So you want to know what went well, what didn't go well. Was something that we did, it doesn't matter if it was whole group or during station time, was it too easy or was it too hard? Do they have a question for you that maybe they didn't get to ask at a different time? Use this reflection time to get students' responses and see how they are feeling about what they are learning. Because by having those types of conversations with your kids are really also going to help you plan for small groups, but that's a whole different video. Your reflections can be an exit ticket. Maybe you just give them a Post-it note or a simple sheet of paper and have them write a sentence or two about what they learned. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Remember, keep things short and simple. If you have any questions, I would love for you to leave me a comment below and I would be happy to help you out with that. I'm also putting in the description of this video a link to some blog posts that I think would be really helpful for you as well. And last but not least, if you are looking for professional development that helps you implement guided math in a step-by-step process, I am really excited that my professional development course called Managing Math Stations is about to open up for enrollment, at least at the time for this video. So I'm going to put a link in the description below for that as well for you to check out. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a blessed one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.